You've probably wanted to get back at a classmate who was too annoying or a neighbor who was too noisy. You've certainly also had your turn to get revenge that wasn't very nice. But whatever you may have done or suffered as a result, we guarantee you that it is nothing compared to these completely unusual and crazy revenges. Make yourself comfortable. Here are, just for you, the 10 most surprising revenges you've ever seen. If revenge is a dish to be eaten cold, I know some who will eat frozen food tonight. But before we get started, can you answer the following question? What is the longest river running through the territory of France? Is it option A, the Seine, B, the Loire River, C, the Rhone, D, the Rhine? If you don't know, be patient. The answer will be given at the end of this video. What an idea to wake up a dog peacefully asleep by savagely attacking it. On his way home to Chongqing, a Chinese driver had the very bad idea of waking up a stray dog that was sleeping where he used to park his car. And to do so, he didn't do it elegantly. Indeed, when he saw the poor dog sleeping there, he got out of his car and ran towards him to hit him and make him run away. But unfortunately, the dog had a very good memory, and the next day he came back with a pack of other dogs to settle his score with the driver. Determined, they all began to bite the body of the car and ruin his windshield wipers in response to the injustice their companion had suffered the day before. That's called being in a dog's mood. This is one of the coldest revenges of all time. It's the story of a couple with no major problems, at least that's what we thought. John Wayne Bobbitt and Lorena Leonore Gallo Bobbitt are two Americans who got married in 1989 and whose union ended rather badly in 1995, in court. No, it wasn't an amicable divorce like the other couples in the world. It was, this time, a rather bloody affair. In order to put an end to the conjugal violence she was experiencing from her husband, Lorena Bobbitt once simply cut off her husband's male attribute with a kitchen knife. Sure, that's radical. This story took place in Virginia, 50 kilometers from Washington, on the night of June 23, 1993, around 4 a.m. When Lorena Bobbitt got up to get a glass of water in the kitchen, she was attracted by a knife 20 centimeters long. She mechanically grabbed it and walked towards the bedroom, where her husband was sleeping soundly. With a sharp gesture, she then cut off his attribute and fled in the middle of the night, in a completely secondary state. When she came to her senses a few minutes later, she realized that she was still holding her husband's limb in her hand and then threw it through the car window. Seeming to regret her action, she then went to a friend's house to notify the police. Meanwhile, John Wayne, who was in terrible pain, was taken to the hospital by a friend. The firefighters searched for the organ in the dark and finally found it after many hours of intensive searching. John then underwent a 10-hour operation to have the manly limb put back in its place. A few days later, the investigation revealed that Lorena had reacted mechanically after more than 4 years of repeated psychological, physical, and sexual abuse. Some time later, both spouses were naturally taken to court. John Wayne was accused of rape and domestic violence and Lorena was in turn accused of cutting off her husband's phallus. Due to the complexity of the case, the U.S. courts refused to rule on the case and both spouses were acquitted. Although she was not found guilty, Lorena still had to spend 45 days in a psychiatric hospital. Today, they live free and separated, obviously, as if nothing had happened. Here's another case where the divorce was a real work of art, and it is the case to say it. Alan Markovitz, a 59-year-old American living in Detroit, didn't make his ex-girlfriend pay dearly for cheating on him, but he paid dearly himself for revenge. Indeed, this strip club manager didn't settle for divorce to ease his pain. To make him regret his infidelity, he bought the house next door to his ex-wife's house. You may think that was a way to annoy him, but he didn't stop there. And open your eyes and ears, because you might find it hard to believe. After his installation, Alan Markovitz had a bronze statue erected in his garden, almost 4 meters high, representing a finger of honor, politely directed towards his ex-wife's house. Not very classy, we admit, but it is so ingenious. Mine of nothing, the statue still cost him €5,000. We knew that marriage involves expenses, but the worst thing is divorce. Another case of deception. The first reaction of a woman who becomes aware of her husband's infidelity is to pack her bag and leave him on the spot. Yes, but not this one. This woman, obviously a little too impulsive on the edges, has rather decided to take revenge on her husband by destroying the second love of her life. Well, the third one, her car. And this, in front of the amazed eyes of all the inhabitants of the neighborhood. Admire the masterpiece. The most surprising part of the sequence is that no one volunteered to stop her. This story seems to have amused more than one person. This is what we call a concrete revenge. A man decided to take revenge on his ex-girlfriend by pouring a whole tank of concrete into his car. Yes, we did say, in his car. Admit it, it's a big deal. One of the first things you learn when you get your license is how to park properly, in the right places. These drivers obviously didn't learn this, and to say the least, they paid enough for it. This one, for example, discovered a nice surprise when he came back to pick up his car. It was wrapped in cellophane. We wish him good luck unwrapping his gift. This driver received a not very nice note on his windshield after he parked badly. Someone clearly recommended him not to happen again. Ouch. That's got to hurt. But the most surprising case in the category of badly parked drivers is clearly the following. A Brazilian driver parked in a space dedicated to the handicapped, and the revenge was terrible. When he came back to pick up his vehicle, he discovered that it was completely wrapped in small post-it papers revealing the sign of a wheelchair for the disabled. I think that at this level, he was well noticed. Moreover, he was also lynched by all those present. Shame guaranteed. Let's hope, at least, that he learned his lesson, just like that. Relationships between landlords and tenants often end badly. Like cats and dogs, they are always making trouble for each other. But this owner deserves the prize for the most surprising revenge. While recovering his apartment, he discovered that his former tenant had left the premises in a deplorable state. To get his revenge, he decided to transport all the furniture and other garbage in a truck to his new home. Upon arriving at the tenant's new home, the truck dumped everything in front of his door, without bothering to ring the bell or warn him. You can't even imagine the look on the tenant's face when he opened the door. This revenge is by far the most hilarious and incredible revenge in the world. In Canada, a singer named Dave Carroll has taken revenge in the most subtle way an entire airline has ever taken revenge, by singing a ditty. No, this is no joke. While traveling on a United Airlines plane, Dave Carroll realized upon arrival that his beloved $3,500 Taylor guitar was completely destroyed by baggage handlers. Unable to get compensation from the airline, despite countless requests, the singer found nothing better than to take revenge in song. So, he broadcast a music video on the net making bad publicity for the company, and guess what? It worked. He was then contacted twice by the company to find a solution to the dispute. He achieved his goal by singing. So, there was no need to be mean. When bus drivers all agree to take revenge on a car driver, that's what it's all about. Check it out. In China, this man unjustly took a parking space reserved for coaches to park there. Worse than that, by parking awkwardly on the dividing line, he took the place of not just one, but two buses. Something that slightly annoyed our friends on the road. In order to get revenge, they decided to surround the driver by imprisoning him and preventing him from leaving. We must say that it is simple but very effective. What do you think is the ultimate goal for a thief? It's to steal a computer from a geek. And guess what? It really happened. The story is hilarious, but revenge? We'll let you savor it. Mark Bao, a 19-year-old student at Bentley University in Waltham, Massachusetts, had his MacBook Air stolen during a moment of inattention, except that the thief misdirected his victim because Mark was a computer pro. As you can see, it didn't take long for the young man to find his thief. Thanks to some of his computer's functions, geeks will understand. And there he discovered that the thief in question had the ingenious idea of catching himself on video doing a ridiculous choreography on a remix of Tyga's Make It Rain. A professional thief, we said. He was able to identify the thief, who was actually a student who lived in the same residence as him. But beware, he didn't just file a complaint with the police, he did even better. Mark posted the famous video on YouTube to make a fool of him on a global scale. We don't know what is more ridiculous in the case. Is it the fact that he was recognized as the alleged thief, or the fact that he sucks at dancing in front of the whole world? So, what did you think of this unusual revenge? Would you have done the same in such situations? Tell us what you think in the comments. And by the way, with more than 1,000 kilometers, 1,013 kilometers to be exact, the Loire is the longest river in France. It originates at Mont-Gerbier-de-Jonc, in the mountains of Ardèche, and ends in the Atlantic Ocean, forming an estuary. On one side of the estuary, the city of Saint-Nazaire, on the other, the city of Saint-Brevin-les-Pins. I hope that many of you have found the right answer.